Well, hello! It's another Subversion Live After Show. I'm CLC, and I've got two amazing guests to break down the sixth episode. Before we bring them on, if you've not seen the sixth episode, go do that first because it's not going to make a whole ton of sense. Again, in our YouTube has a link to our Discord. I highly recommend coming and hanging out in our Discord. It's a lot more fun anyway. All right, without further ado, it's about the guests anyway. Let's bring them in. First, she's our mother. She is the mother. She's already been here for Mo Watch, and now she gets the pristine opportunity to say if she agrees or disagrees with her initial suspicions. It's Kari.
Hello. I suppose I would have to disagree with my original suspicions because my mole pick is executed now.
Was it Sterling?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, now is your time to rewrite history and clock on to who the mole is now. Our other guest hails from Greenhouse. If you're a fan of the Greenhouse, I think he played 2 seasons there, but more famously from the Genius UK. Go watch that. I've got the links if you need them. It's Ben.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. How is the UK? How is European time?
It is hot as hell right now. We've got like this. What?
Do y'all not believe in AC there?
No. So like it's in the 90s this week, and I live in like a tiny brick house, and it's built to keep the heat inside. So like it is going to be absolutely horrible.
That's great. I watched two drag queens from the UK, and they don't believe in AC, but then they're constantly sweating at this time. I'm like, what is going on? I don't know how y'all do it over there.
But... No, exactly.
But let's hop right in. So, I mean, do you have any general thoughts on the people who are still left in the game that you really want to talk about that maybe isn't episode specific, and then we can hop into the episode itself? But anything you want to get off your chest before we hop in?
I've mostly enjoyed the cast overall. Like, everyone's so fun to watch, and I'm invested in how each person is doing, even if I don't think that they're the mole. I'm rooting for people. And like I think we said it in the pregame, like you have to be rootable. And a mole has to be rootable, and everyone is rootable. So
even Cooper.
Even Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it as well. I think there's enough like big personalities that balance out the more quiet players. And there's some sassy and spicy moments as well, and also people who are just kind of having a fun time and joking around. Like it's a good mix of comedy and seriousness. I'm liking it.
Absolutely. And I mean, Brent will happily disagree, but I mean, I still love the 11 that we're still in. I still think it's a good balance. I do think we've lost a little bit of the team TV and some of the personalities who kind of were giving early on, but I still think the 11 people who remain are still absolutely fabulous and still giving drama and just fun times. And yeah, we got a great mix, as you said, Ben, just like some quieter people, some louder people. So let's talk about them specifically. So we'll hop into the first mission. So we just said goodbye to Emily. I guess we should say goodbye to Emily. The general consensus is a lot of like crud because we didn't lose a suspect. And that's kind of the overall feeling. It's just like, well, womp womp, would have preferred someone who was more of a suspect to go. But at the same time, Emily is a bit of a shit stirrer. And I think, I mean, Liz specifically kind of highlights it being like, thank God she's gone. Because while she's not the mole, she's, doing things that can be, I don't want to say irritating, but like it's irritating when someone is like constantly monitoring everyone and people don't feel like they can do what they want to do. So any thoughts on Emily before we hop into the actual first mission?
I was surprised that she rubbed Liz the wrong way that badly. Like I was kind of curious what she was actually doing, because you kind of have to expect in a mole game that people are going to be keeping tabs on each other. So I'm wondering like to what extent was she really being annoying, or is Liz just have a bit of a short fuse for her?
I don't know. It's a great question because I'm not really around the players when they're in their like downtime era. So this is all like super new to me to see, because Liz is usually cool, calm, collected.
Okay.
So to see Liz be like, I'm so happy she's gone. I was like, damn. That's
really fun though, because sometimes like different personalities just don't mix, and so you've just got two people who don't mix. I mean, it's happened to me playing games before as well, and then it's interesting to navigate all of that. So I would be relieved as well if somebody that I wasn't gelling with was getting executed, because it's just one less person to worry about.
Exactly. Any thoughts, Kari, before we get into all about Phoenix?
It was sad to see her go because she's so funny. And just one of my favorite moments with her was when they were getting kind of rude on the walkie and just said, like, well, after the first try, if you're not going to do it, like, just don't even try. She was so determined to get that. And I love that in a queen. Like, I was really sad to see her go, but I'm interested to see how people who were close with her are going to navigate without her.
Yeah.
Because I know she was one of the boisterous personalities.
Yep. Yeah, it's the hard part about being on site is like the production part of me was happy she left because it's like no one's looking at her, so our mole can stay hidden and we don't lose a suspect. But then the other side is like Emily's really giving it. She's irritating the girls. She's really pushing buttons, and that just gives us more content because people came to those confessional booths mad about everything she was doing.
Wow.
So yeah. Yeah, very interesting to see. I mean, because obviously I think Cooper highlighted that he was a lot closer to Emily. So yeah, definitely like it's always fun to see when someone loses an ally, especially in a game like this, kind of where they end up. Where do they end up thinking? Where do they end up going? Do they find new allies? Kind of what do they do? But definitely Emily leaving kind of opens up a bit of the game. A bit more because people were kind of walking on eggshells around her because she was constantly monitoring everyone. So shall be interesting. Let's hop into the first mission. God bless these people. This is all about Phoenix. It can't get any easier than this. It is just 3 sets of 8 trivia questions about Phoenix, and all the answers are on them. The answers are on the boards that they're wearing. It doesn't get any easier than this. So to begin a set, they'll flip over question 1. They'll answer it. Once they're done with that, they'll open up question 2, so on and so forth. They'll earn money based off of how many correct answers they have, but if any question is wrong in a set, it'll null and void the entire set. The trick is that they quickly found out is that each of them has an elimination code on their poster board that says, hey, to eliminate this player and earn a +1, go write this code on a whiteboard and eliminate them, but it would take them out of the arena, meaning that any potential answers that are on their board are also gone, which we see at the end where basically people are just like, we don't have the answers to anything else that remains. We might as well just like call the challenge because we're just going to stand around because there's no point in answering a question and risking making the set null and void. But they eliminated so many people that they didn't have answers to answer the remaining questions. But over to y'all about the challenge. Anything you notice that you really want to highlight and talk about, but all y'all.
I was looking at how people were acting when the challenge was being introduced and explained to them, because sometimes I think the mole usually knows what the challenge is in advance, and sometimes the person tends to give a little bit more information in their body language. And I got a little bit of that from Alex, just a little bit. But then in the challenge, he also, if you watch him in the background, he just sort of stands around, but he'll turn so that his number is concealed from everybody, but not in a way that's obvious. Like, I mean, I said that wrong. He will sort of turn so that his number is visible to the other people when you're supposed to be concealing that. So that was incredibly suspicious to me in that challenge. But I agreed with Stephanie, like, if you've got a chance to further yourself in the game, take it at that point, because if you don't and there's that many people left, somebody else is going to. So.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that like Cooper ran and took all the whiteboards, but then I guess felt guilty about that and then started giving them away.
Gave them back, yeah.
But like, had he just kept them all, then he could have stopped anyone else from getting a +1.
Yeah. And I don't know what's going through his head. I'll have to go watch his confessional from this round. I don't know if it's because he just lost Emily and feels like he needs to be nice to people to maybe have more inroads elsewhere. But I was intrigued to see him take them all, and then all of a sudden, and the boards are back. Now they're back in play. Because, like, if you want no advantages in the game and you want, go max money, no one can screw this up, grab the whiteboards and don't give them to anyone. And then all of a sudden, the boards are back in play. So I don't know what was going through his head when he put them back in play, because initially, not a terrible thought, and then he doesn't even take advantage of it. He doesn't eliminate anybody. So it wasn't
exactly.
it wasn't like he gave them back and then took advantage. He gave them back and then allowed everyone else to get advantages left and right. So it was just a very interesting choice there.
Which is why I thought it was a bit suspicious. But I don't think the mole would do that. But it was weird because you either keep them all, force everyone to earn money, and then decide if you're going to start eliminating people, or you just keep them all and start eliminating people and you're fully out for yourself. But there's still a way to play that where you're essentially looking out for the group.
Yeah.
So that was interesting how that all played out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely very interesting. Because, I mean, I'd say Cooper, I think Colby to an extent, Alex, Jabbar, Steph are kind of the main people staying away from the whiteboards. Like Colby comes in and eliminates Steph, but for the most part, they seemed generally uninterested in the whiteboards, which is just suspicious in general. Like why you would be willing to even consider an advantage in the game. Sure, let's work together for a bit and then we can go at each other's throats. And Julia kind of highlighted that, being like, hey, you can eliminate me, but like, can you wait a minute? Like, they need my board. I want them to have my board for the answers, but then you can eliminate me. And Taylor still eliminated her anyway and didn't care. But like, it was very interesting to see the complete divide of like who cared and who didn't care. Like Sammy never, like, barely left the whiteboard. She was constantly trying to get people's codes. Taylor and Stephanie are doing their little dance, trying to get each other's codes. It was very interesting to see a complete 50-50 split of who cared and who didn't care. I guess, like, would you care? I mean, I know, Kari, you said you would.
I would just assume that eventually someone would end up with those +1s, and I would rather have one of them to avoid someone having all of them for a quiz. I think that would be more detrimental to me and other people in the game. So I would absolutely go for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would do the same. Like, I would have done what Cooper did and confiscated all the whiteboards, and I would not have given them back. Because unlike Greenhouse or Survivor or any of these kind of games, you can't get voted out of Subversion. Like, you have to lose the quiz to get eliminated. So who cares if people hate you? I'm playing to get the +1s. And even if I don't play to get all the +1s for myself, I can make sure that the people who get the +1s are the people I want to, and they got it because I gave them the information or gave them a whiteboard. So you become the most powerful person in the game, and you can create allies by giving away that information and using the whiteboards to help people. So I would have gone full gremlin on the whiteboards.
Exactly.
Yeah, it got messy quickly. And like, I mean, I think Cooper and Julia get to share a little bit of blame in that. I think Cooper brought attention to the whiteboards, which then got everyone talking about what the whiteboards did and what they meant, which then kind of derailed the challenge. And then it seemed like, okay, we're getting back on track. And then Julia eliminating Ben is kind of what then sent it into just utter disrepair. Once one person gets out, it then just creates just such a downstream effect of like, oh, well, if she has a +1, I want a +1. And then it just, everyone's trying to eliminate each other. And after that point, it was just kind of like, well, whatever they've earned money-wise, that's all they're gonna earn at this point, because no one trusts anyone anymore. No one's willing to show each other's boards anymore. Some of the answers are out of the arena already. It's just in total mess, which I will give them at least some credit for not going into that immediately. They did end up winning over half the money, $56. They at least still worked together well enough.
It is a very suspicious move to either highlight the whiteboards or be the first person to eliminate someone after you've been working together like that, knowing it's going to start that ball rolling. Like, that was suspicious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so Cooper brings all the attention to it and then gives the boards back. It's Julia that eliminates Ben that creates the waterfall. Taylor eliminates Julia despite her telling him to, like, wait a second. Just being like, hey, just, like, give it a second. You have my code. You'll get the +1. Just chill. But he eliminates her anyway. Stephanie eliminates Jabbar. Colby eliminates Steph. And then Stephanie goes for a second +1 and eliminates Liz. And then Taylor gets his second +1 and eliminates Alex. So over half the cast is out of the game at this point, and that just kind of ends the challenge. They end early. They were like, we're done. And honestly, they were like, we don't want anyone else to get any more +1s. Like we don't want to have to like sit in these corners, like hiding our boards. We're just happy to call it. So
Yeah.
$56 ain't bad for, what ended up happening, but a lot of suspicious activity there. Any final thoughts before we hop in? Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm really liking the Julia Ben rivalry. And I also really enjoyed Taylor's confessional about how like Ben breathes and like looks the wrong direction, and Julia's like, oh, I can't. But I'm curious how that plays out in the future. And I'm also curious how much of Julia eliminating him really was a self-defense versus like an offensive move to take someone out of the game. So she's couching it around like, oh, he was collecting codes and going to eliminate everyone, and he's sabotaging all the missions. So it's best for the group to get him out. Exactly. But I wonder like how much there's also like a selfish motivation as well there.
Exactly. And that's what's hard about these games, especially when you have someone like Ben. I mean, it's easy to frame everything you do to be negative about Ben. So yeah, like how much of it is truly, was it selfish for the +1? Is it for the betterment of the group? Is she just the mole getting the train going on eliminating people? It's a very interesting dynamic. But yeah, her and Ben they just don't click. They just don't vibe. They have two completely different outlooks on this game, and that's fine. But that's also the beauty of the game, and you can't do anything about it. He can stay on his own merit. You can stay on your own merit. You can't vote him out. So yeah, it's very interesting watching them. And then we'll get to her being irritated at him in the other mission, which again, like you chose to be on his team. You didn't have to be with him. So like you opted to be with him. But Taylor does kind of illustrate it very well, being like, he breathes and Julia's irritated. Like there's nothing he can do that will save how she feels about him. And I can tell you now, there's another blow up next episode between those two. So it'll keep coming. It's far from over.
Exciting.
We love some drama. Anything you care before we hop into Colby being kidnapped?
No, I love the kidnapping scene was so funny. I love the little black and white like vignettes of here's what happened. Like the dramatizations have been my favorite part about the season so far.
We really leaned into the just reenactments and like why not? And again, I don't watch the confessionals live because I'm too busy doing other things. But like I was giggling watching Colby's confessional, being like, they threw me into the back. Like, bitch, you stepped in.
You stepped in very carefully.
He's like, I'm so nervous. I'm like, girl, get out of here with it. Like, I'm living. I'm like, girl, don't make it seem like we like truly like put you in harm's way. We threw you in the back of a U-Haul. Give me like, please, but so good. But yeah,
was he picked randomly?
So the mall knew ahead of time that in between mission 1 and mission 2, we would do results for mission 1, and we'd had them kind of lined up in a way where I could left to right count 1 to 11, and the mall knew ahead of time that the third person from the left would be the person who was chosen. So it was random but predetermined as to how it would be selected. Now, okay. Read into that, did Colby as the mall put himself in that position? TBD. Sure. But so it was predetermined how it would happen, but he was selected by random for standing third from the left. So Colby is randomly kidnapped, and the group must find him within 1 hour. So there are kind of many moving parts here. So we have Colby's kidnapped, and he's trying to help all the teams kind of find him within 1 hour because they only earn money if he gets found in an hour. You've got 2 players, Alex and Steph. They are tasked with finding envelopes around the city as well as finding Colby within an hour. But the only money that gets earned is however many envelopes they have, plus if they find him in time. So how they find the addresses they need is they have a list of addresses. Colby has a list of addresses, whichever addresses that they have that Colby doesn't have are the 4 addresses they need to go to get the envelopes. But it's kind of like a time balance of like, we only have an hour. we want ideally get all 4 envelopes, but we also need to find him. So got to balance.
It's like go-sees on America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have to try to go to as many go-sees as you can, but not be late.
But not be late. So you got to pick and choose how much you want to do, and then to figure out where Colby even is relies on the other 2 teams. So we've got Julia, Sammy, Ben, and Taylor, who are trying to figure out the house number. And they are gathering questions. I think really just Sammy and Ben are the ones going out gathering questions. It could have been any of them, but I guess those 2 chose to do that portion of it. They're gathering questions to crack a code that ultimately Taylor and Julia, I guess, took the brunt of the work on to do that. Once they solve the code, that gives them the house address or the house number. The other 4, which are Liz, Cooper, Jabbar, and Stephanie, are solving a jigsaw puzzle as well as trying to earn missing pieces through identifying a Price is Right middle object. Once they finish their puzzle completely, they would earn the street address. So once both teams figure out or finish their portions, then Steph and Alex would have the address to where they go get Colby. Unfortunately, they get it with just like a minute, 90 seconds left in the time limit. So it wasn't enough time for Alex and Steph to ultimately get to Colby. But there's a lot of things to talk about because obviously they win no money. They don't find Colby in time. So I'll pass it over to y'all. There's plenty to talk about here.
I would say it was a very good episode overall for the mole, especially in this challenge. And I was trying to think, like, if I were the mole, which sort of group would I want to be in? And the smaller amount of people in your group seems like it would be the best option. So I would want to be in the car. But I don't know. It's also really easy to hide a puzzle piece, as we remember from season 1. So I enjoyed their arguments over the cost of household goods. It was very like this was a good episode for Stephanie. I had a good time watching her.
That's mother.
But there were some suspicious moments, like, and yeah, I'll let Ben talk for a moment.
Well, okay, so I have some questions about the puzzle game. I think what I gathered was that they had to identify which of the 5 products was priced in the middle. And each time they took a guess, if they were incorrect, they would lose 3 minutes off of their clock.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Correct.
So as someone who is a semi-professional speed jigsaw puzzler, I can tell you that one person who is good at jigsaw puzzles can do a 400-piece puzzle in under an hour. So for 4 people to be working together, even if one of them is the mole, I actually don't think that I think it's very difficult to sabotage that task unless you do something crazy like steal a piece or do what Liz did, which I noticed, which is touch the puzzle when you're not meant to, or suggest that Tide Pods are the middle item when, I mean, I don't know. I haven't shopped in America in a long time, but to me, Tide Pods sound like they're going to be really freaking expensive. So that those
on
2
my
things
list immediately when she said, "This is no."
Yeah. So when she was talking about Tide Pods and then touch the puzzle, I was like, this is how I would sabotage this if I were the mole. But then again, would the mole put themselves in that group? I don't know.
Yeah. So you got to down the money. So yeah, like they can choose at whatever point they want to guess what the middle object is to earn the missing 50 pieces they need to complete the puzzle. But if they guess wrong, they lose 3 or they'll stand there for 3 minutes and basically lose 3 minutes of time. But yeah, I'm not at that station, but it was as I'm getting updates as to how the stations are doing, I was also very surprised at how poorly the puzzle portion was going. Because 4 people, 400 pieces. It takes them, I think it was their 4th guess until they finally guess that it's the lint roller, which again, like I'm not a shopping aficionado here, but yeah, guessing Tide Pods was crazy. That's cuckoo bananas.
Another thing very suspicious is one of those players in that puzzle group is a self-professed like jigsaw puzzler professional who collects them and builds them weekly. Stephanie.
Stephanie.
And I thought it was suspicious that she was just over here in the corner working on her one little tree. But
And I can't speak to the strategy that was happening over there, but again, just looking at the footage, I'm like, why are all the pieces everywhere? Like, why is everyone doing their
they separated them and then didn't touch those. It was suspicious.
I feel like when they earned the 50 pieces, like, sure, you're missing 50 of 400, but like, even when they earned the 50, I was like, why is the puzzle not even remotely close to done? Like, what's going on here? What's happening? So
Yeah.
I don't know what happened over there, but not good.
It's kind of hard though, because like in a game like Subversion, even the players who aren't the mole are oftentimes doing worse than they would be if they were actually trying their hardest at something. So it's hard to drag people because they all could have just been trying to do it shitty and sabotage it. But yeah, I was very confused. Also, strategically, you would want to get your 50 pieces right away. So even if you burn through 6, 9, even 12 minutes, making very unlucky guesses, having all of the pieces when you start is much easier to solve a puzzle than having 50 missing.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, there was lots of choices that were made.
Yeah, they definitely stalled a long time before even picking because they were so focused on talking to Colby, and Colby didn't have any of the answers for them.
Yeah.
But they
His
were
answers over that phone, he was just like, what color is the floor? And he's just like, yeah. Like he wouldn't even say like
I only made him do 5 dumb things. I only made him do 5 dumb things to earn the blackout.
He did such a good job at the dumb thing.
Everything else he did on his own. I told him to hang up once. I told him to say I don't know, and one time I told him to lie that he saw things when he clearly sees nothing. But other than that, I was like, I'll give you the answers you're supposed to tell them. But everything else, yeah, like he fully lied about dude wipes being $10, which maybe they are. I don't know. I have to go back and look at my notes and see how much they are in Arizona. But
I found that very suspicious, by the way, because nothing on Price is Right is $10.00. It's all like $8.75. You know, like so as soon as someone gives me an even number for a price, I'm immediately suspicious of why they're saying that.
And the people on the phone didn't call him out on that. Like none of them even thought twice about the weird answers he was giving. And like when he said, I can't answer that for is it black or white? Like just pick one. But he wouldn't answer it, and everyone's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. It's cool. It really took him. It was funny. It took until Steph. I mean, we're jumping ahead, but it took until Steph kind of calling out everyone, and we'll get to the Alex v. Colby of it all. But it took until that moment for other people to also be like, now that you say it, Colby was a little weird, wasn't he? Like it really took until then for people to start putting the pieces together that Colby was being odd. People just like wrote it off as like, oh, whatever, who cares? People just being hoo-hoo, ha-ha, funny. But let's get to Alex and Steph, because I was getting nervous out the gate that Alex and Steph weren't even going to leave the Airbnb. Like, from the mission planning perspective, the mission starts when Colby calls them, because that's the first thing that needs to happen. They need to figure out the 4 addresses of the envelopes. That needs to happen immediately. And it took so long. Like, it was like 20 minutes in before Alex.
She was taking a whole nap.
Oh, yeah.
They were taking naps. Like,
they were actively
rushing.
No rush, no care in the world, just sitting there waiting for Colby to call them back. They weren't trying to rush and get and I get it. You want the other teams to be able to talk to Colby if they need to, but like y'all are priority number 1. You earn no money if you do not get to Colby. You can have the address, but you have to get there. You need to be gone. So it was crazy just like sitting here watching the updates come in being like, why haven't they left yet? Why haven't they left yet? Oh my goodness, please leave. And it just took, and as Steph said in her confessional, the process to get through all the addresses was inefficient at best. Like they were walking through the whole address instead of doing what they ended up doing, which is let's just read the street's name because they're all unique street names. And they finally were like, okay, let's think of a better way to do this. It just took 20-25 minutes before they finally finished what should have been like a 4-minute task. So
also, how many were they given initially before they ruled any out?
So Alex and Steph had 25 addresses and Colby had 21. And so just
okay.
on the list to find the 4 that they had that Colby didn't have. That's all they had to do. But like it shouldn't have taken 20 minutes to do. I get that, they weren't spending all that time calling them, but it just, I was getting nervous that like we were going to fail the mission out the gate. And I was like, that's not what I want. I want them to like feel like they have a shot at earning the money and not like it was a failure from the jump. But luckily they got out of there. They found all 4 envelopes very, very fast. Just ultimately didn't have enough time to go get Colby in the end. But so that was Alex and Steph, and there was some argument about Colby saying he definitely had an address when he didn't have an address. There were some arguments there, which Steph is kind of the main reason Steph wanted to come and yell at everyone. Was kind of like, Colby was acting weird, and I need to bring it to everyone's attention, which then brought many other things Colby did into the fold. But the other group we haven't talked about yet is the Julia, Sammy, Ben, Taylor group. So they're running around trying to collect questions that Taylor then can call and ask Colby about a code that I will give him the answers to respond to. And one of the things that you don't see in the episode, because it's just so analytical, it's so small that you don't need to know it. But part of the task is that they can only bring back 2 of the same Easter egg color to open it up and see if there's a question inside.
Oh.
That solves one of my questions.
Something that like so small doesn't need to be in there. But like Julia and Taylor, and you can see it in the episode, they're getting irritated at Sammy and Ben because they're literally 10-cent Easter eggs. You can look through the Easter egg and see if there's a question in there. Like this should not be taking as long as it is, and you can just see Sammy and Ben kind of dicking around, for lack of a better term, just kind of slowly perusing. Oh, I think there's a question in here. I don't know. Just a lot of wasted time, which again, in this challenge, you needed every second you could. And some of those seconds might have been nice to have back at the end of the day. But ultimately, Julia solves the code, and they get at least their portion done. I think they got their portion about like 10 minutes left, so they were very far ahead of the puzzle group. The puzzle group, it was cutting it real close, and at that point it was like, well, unless they are down the street, it's not gonna happen. But
so the puzzle group are the ones who really
screwed it up. Yeah.
Wow.
Shocking.
That's shocking.
Yeah, I thought it'd be the opposite. I thought the Easter egg group was going to be the team that was going to hold everything up, and it certainly was not. It was the puzzle group, which again, I wasn't there. I can't speak to it, but it was just like 400 pieces, 4 of you. But looking at the footage, I'm like, I see why y'all suck so bad, because everyone's doing their own thing, and it's not how you build a puzzle. Which again, like I feel like when y'all did your puzzle in season 1, Kari, I felt like y'all were building the puzzle as one. While you all were coming at it from different angles, you all were still building the puzzle as a puzzle.
Yeah. When you got more than like 4 pieces connected, you would move it to the center of the other puzzle, or where it was supposed to go.
Exactly. So it was just very strange. I can't get past it. I just can't. But again, that's just the jigsaw puzzler in me. I'm like, this was so inefficient. But in the end, they earn no money. They don't find Colby in time. They earned everything that they needed to give to Alex and Steph, just unfortunately. I mean, the one thing that I do giggle at, because I had to get insider tea from Foser, who's driving the car, is why Alex and Steph got out of the car. And the insider tea is that they thought that because they got to their 4th location, which was the school, that they just thought that Colby would be somewhere near the school. So they just got out of the car to start walking. When you design these things, you don't think how people will think. But like in my head, it's like you earn the 4 addresses. You can go to them in any order. They chose to go in the order of the addresses they wanted to find the envelope. So it was just like in my head, I'm like, why would you think that Colby is near the 4th address that you chose to go to by your own personal choice? So I was just like,
right.
Why did they leave the car? And that was the reason I got. I was like, oh, I wouldn't have thought that. But it was just odd. I'm like, they shouldn't have left the car. Which then only
it's mole behavior to leave the car.
But they got
time because because if you get the phone call, you're like, oh no, I'm over at the gymnasium of this random school.
Exactly. Yeah. It was very odd. Yeah. Just a lot of odd things going on. But in the end, $0. Steph had to, tell people how she felt, because she felt like this was an easy $80 to win. And I would agree. Again, when we planned these missions before the season, there were just certain missions where like, all right, this is their chance to get some money back. It's a confidence booster. Well, no.
This was one of those. Oh no.
It was. We thought for sure that this would be a money earner. We were like, oh yeah, they'll at least get $40-$60. They might not get all the envelopes, but they'll get to the kidnapped person.
Wow.
Well, that's what we get for assuming. But that ends our 2 missions. Do you have any thoughts on the missions before we get to the quiz portion, or the introduction of the blackout and what that means for the Dutch Mole fans? It's just a black exemption. We've just called it the blackout because we think the name black exemption is a little confusing. But that's just our piece on the matter. But any thoughts you have before we get to kind of all of that?
I enjoyed all of the people. Like, all of the players are so competitive with each other, but you can also tell they're still just having a good time. And like, you might not particularly like somebody, but you're not being rude to them. Like, they're being rude to them in the spirit of the game. And I appreciate that so much. And it's so fun to watch. And I love like the hanging up of the phone and especially the people's reactions when Steph is calling him out on the suspicious behavior when they start to think of something that he did. So funny. So funny. But it sort of just reaffirmed some of my suspicions because I've been looking at Alex. Mm-hmm. The original reason I started looking at Alex was because I've noticed that Alex especially always wears sandals. And I believe it was Liz in season 1 that said, "Why are you showing toes for YouTube?" Like, without. So like, you must already be paid. And that's why you just wear your sandals, right? And like, you're running around the basketball court in flip-flops. So like, that alone is sabotage to me. I don't know. But again, this episode reaffirmed those suspicions, but also Alex is suspicious for a number of other reasons. So Alex and Stephanie, I will be watching her.
Well done.
Yeah, I think for me, like, the 2 people who stood out in these missions as doing something that I found very suspicious were Alex and Liz. Mm. And then as we've talked about it, and I've learned more that the Jigsaw puzzle team are actually the ones who fucked it the most, I'm now really looking at Stephanie. And I think she was either moling or pretending to be the mole, because Stephanie knows how to put together a jigsaw puzzle faster than that. So she was not telling people for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because she said in her confessional, I mean, again, for those who don't know Stephanie Fagan, like, again, Jigsaw connoisseur, and she said in her confession, she's like, oh, I heard Jigsaw puzzle, I'm going to that team. And she clearly was kind of the de facto leader of that team, because they kept being like, hey, what should we do? How should we do this? When they are 3 minutes of they can't work on anything, they're asking Stephanie how to approach things. So yeah, very interesting. And then Liz kind of took the lead role on the Price is Right stuff, and both of those went, not so great. So ultimately, Colby does earn the blackout, and the cast does get told that, hey, your advantages are now at jeopardy. So it was there was a clear frustration in the room because of, people just sabotaged All About Phoenix to get, a cumulative 6+1s, and they lost a lot of money by doing that. And now they're being told that potentially someone now has a blackout that could then nullify anything that gets played at an upcoming quiz, which then just made people feel like, great, I did all of that, and for what? But that is the introduction of the blackout. And again, like, for those Dutch fans, it's just the black exemption. But yeah, so Colby now has the distinct advantage of, he knows what's in the game. He knows who has got +1s. He knows who will have exemptions in the future. And he at any point can play the blackout and nullify everything. So if he feels like he's at a disadvantage with what's about to get played, he can kind of even the playing field and go, nope, we're all taking the quiz with nothing, and the worst quizzers just going out. So a very powerful position to be in for Colby. So very intrigued to see how he plays it.
I have a question about the black exemption and about the +1s.
Yeah.
Can they be physically transferred between players?
They can. I don't know why you would, but they can.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, if I'm sat there and then my ally gets a green screen, I might just slip them my +1s until I get a green screen, and then they can give them back.
Oh, that's valid.
I'm just wondering if you're allowed to do that.
We haven't really thought about that. I mean, it's not in our rules that says you can't do that. In our head, we're just like, you would never, I guess. In our rules, it says once you give something to someone, it's in their possession. You can't steal it. So I guess
Sure.
like, you have to take the gamble that they're going to give it back to you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't thought about that because it's just like, is someone going to willingly give away something as crucial as that? But something for us to think about. So write that down. Write that down.
I know they buried him in the yard before the execution for like whoever made it through one of the Subversion seasons.
That's cool.
They did. They had a, well, Carther's gonna get mad all over again. They had a blood pact to do something on a quiz, and they hid something for the both of them. And if one of them was to leave, they would know where it was hidden for the survivor. Did one of the blood pact people go back on that deal? Absolutely. They did not do what they said they were going to do on that quiz. And Karthik did do what he was going to do, and he went home for it. So, Karthik, if you're watching, do not attack Gavin again, please. Let's put it behind us, I beg. But let's get to just our quiz and our execution. In our quiz portion, we hear a lot of names. I mean, and it's the authentic truth. Like, this cast is very all over the place in terms of who they're suspecting. I mean, a lot of Steph sus. We were sucked to lose her. There was a lot of people actively suspicious of Steph. So losing her was unfortunate, but we hear a lot of Alex, Jabbar, Colby. Sammy has a statement about Taylor and how she asked Taylor, who are you sus of? And he said, nobody. And that really has her gears going, being like, you're underplaying where you're at. You've got Liz, who's talking about how Colby and Cooper do everything together and they just share so much in common just as human beings, but then they also do everything together in the missions. And then you've got the thought about Julie and the theatrics and her being the de facto leader, but then she does things that are inherently suspicious. And it's like, is she hiding behind this like leader mentality and no one sees the fact that she's actually the mole doing all this? So anything that caught your attention from what anyone said in that little portion that you agreed with, didn't agree with?
It made me less suspicious of Alex to see that so many of the players were suspicious, because from a meta perspective, if it were Alex, you probably would edit some of that, like around some of that. So it made me less suspicious, but that's the top of my list. Yeah. So I felt justified, like hearing other people say, but
yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, I've learned watching so many seasons of The Mole that I almost try to not listen when people are saying what they're suspicious of before they take the quiz, because I know that my brain is going to get twisted by whoever has edited the show, and I don't want my brain to get twisted by them.
No, and it's valid, because I mean, we won't hide the fact that we like to. Foster will play games as the editor. He might, like what people just said in the quiz overlay, might have been from an episode from a round ago. Who's to say? Who's to? You don't know.
Exactly.
I'm not keeping track of that. But also something that we always talk about in terms of how our game is filmed is we do both missions and everyone does their confessionals. We only have 3 or 4 confessional booths, so we have to go through some rotations. Mm-hmm. And then once we're done with that, then we set up the quiz stuff. So like there is a decent gap for some people. Like some people do their confessional and aren't taking the quiz until about 90 minutes later because they're the first group to go in. So what they're telling us might not be what they end up thinking 90 minutes later. So sometimes Foster is using what they said, but like what they did on the quiz is not actually in alignment with that. Also, some people just are really bad quiz takers and think that they're doing what they said they were going to do and then don't do it at all. So So you can't trust what you're being told at all for many reasons, but at least I enjoy listening to them being like, what feels inauthentic? Like what feels like, ooh, this is a mole saying just things that just don't align with reality. But
that's a good point.
But unfortunately, we say goodbye to Steph, and I'm real sad for many reasons. I mean, obviously she's a joy. She was finally starting to I feel like get into her own. Because, I mean, she comes in completely unknown. No one knows who she is, and that's a very unique experience to be on a cast of 15 where everyone kind of is aware of each other to some degree. She had nobody, one of the few who came in with nobody. And it felt like she was finally like getting her voice and being able to speak her mind. And then she hits it with a really terrible worm, really bad worm out the door. But any thoughts on Steph as we say goodbye to her? And then we'll get your mole and your winner picks.
I was sad to see her go because she's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And like this exit was one of the top funniest. Like, I want to know why. Like, I have so many questions. I'm like, why would you, like, who chose this? Why did you decide to do this as your exit? Like, what prompted this?
Right. What compelled?
Yeah, I love it. I just, but it was sad to see. It was sad to see her go.
Yeah, she's fab.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Steph. I think this is also an excellent game to play as your first foray into LRGs because actually, like, you can make coalitions, alliances, whatever, but at the end of the day, you need to collect information from people. So everyone has an intrinsic motivation to form connections with everyone and not just ice people out and vote them out. So actually being new and not having as many connections doesn't hurt you as much in this game, and actually could cause people to suspect you more because they don't know a baseline for you, whereas they might know a baseline for other people that they actually know. But yeah, I thought her personality was lovely and she was really fun to watch and also was creating a bit of confrontation in this episode, so I'm sad to see her go.
Yeah, very sad. And I always love when people surprise you. Like, we didn't really know what we were getting with Steph. I mean, she played a mole game like a decade ago when she was in high school. So like that, just we had no clue what we were getting. We were not sure if people would suspect her at all because she openly admitted she wasn't going to be that great of a note taker. She wasn't going to be studying a lot. And she actively said it in her confessionals and in her quiz portions, being like, I'm not studying. And that was the truth. She wasn't. And it's hard to tell if that's going to register as suspicious or not suspicious to the cast. And we were pleasantly surprised to see so many people on the cast really suspect her. And it's always nice when people surprise you. It's like, I didn't see this for you is your arc. So it was really sad to lose her. She's an absolute joy. If you ever get the chance to meet Miss Steph Shama, she is everything. Please go find her and meet her. She's a joy and a pleasure. But we're now down to 10. We've said goodbye to 5. The mole and the winner are amongst the 10 that are left. And now it's your time to tell me who you think the mole is, who you think the winner is. Stake your claim. This is your moment.
I'm going to go Alex. Well, I'm going to go Alex winner, Stephanie Mole.
Oh, switch up.
Because, and like the brain cell just connected, but like everyone's suspicious of Alex for doing things that make him look like the mole. But if you know who the mole is, like if you locked in on who the mole was, like that's the best way to keep you like no one else would be looking for a mole if they thought that it was you. And there's like a third of the people left think that it's Alex. So yeah.
Why Stephanie Mole besides obviously, and I mean the jigsaw of it all? Was there anything else season-wise?
The jigsaw of it all, like for this season, and I'm pulling from my own past mole experiences, this is a lot of women being eliminated. And if the women are working together, like they're kind of, and I'm not saying it's fully divided among lines, but you're not going to think of your good friend immediately in your head when you're taking a quiz that's that fast. Like you're going to omit them subconsciously. So seeing this many women go in a row makes me suspicious so much more of the women. And like I fell prey to that perhaps twice, who's to say. But you have to look at the boot order a little bit to see what's not being looked at. And I think Steph here going is suspicious because she's not going to pick her team on the kidnapping mission. She's not going to say the mole was in the car because she's in the car. So that could have been a point against her and a point for Alex as the mole. But Stephanie Mole, Alex winner.
Love that.
Love. I thought about the same thing actually about the boot order and how that makes me more likely to suspect that a woman is the mole.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh, I'm so torn. I'm also like, I just really want Jabbar, Stephanie, and Taylor to like make it really far because I know them from Greenhouse. And so I just really want one of them to be the mole and one of them to be the winner. And so I'm constantly dissecting what they're doing. I guess if I had to pick, I would maybe pick Liz or Stephanie as mole. And I'm going to go for Taylor as the winner. I don't think I ever want to bet against Taylor.
You never should.
It's good picks.
Yeah. Betting for Taylor Luke is always a good answer, even if that man gaslit me into watching all of Marooned for him to lose. Still irritated at that. Still mad. It's nonetheless. No, absolutely. I think there's no wrong picks in the bunch. And the beauty of the mole is you can attack it from any angle you want, and there is no winning strategy. Unlike Big Brother and Survivor, where there are more dominant strategies. Here, I mean, just our winners. I mean, you can look at all the other LRG winners, just any of the real series winners. Like, winners can tackle it in so many different ways. So it's all, I mean, just got to make another round. That's the only goal every round is get that green screen and then see what happens. Because, I mean, you saw Steph's execution. Like, the shock was real. There are people now completely rethinking their suspicions. And that's all they needed, maybe, to get on the right path. Is now Steph's out of their mind. They don't have to worry about her anymore. Maybe they can focus on the real answer. So TBD, who's to know? But any last things before we peace on out?
No, I don't think so. But thank you for having me. This was great again.
No, thank you both for being here. I mean, you're not feeling well. It's almost midnight your time. So everyone who's watching, they thank you to both of them and say it 4 times and mean it. Because they both have been here and done things that maybe didn't work for their timeline, okay? So
can I ask one question?
Yes.
Okay, I might have just missed this. I rewatched all the episodes so that I could at least know what I'm talking about today. Have we been told anything about Ian finding these envelopes in the house very early on?
So Emily, was it beginning of episode 3, I think? It's after he goes home. So it's, I think, yes, beginning of episode 3. She admits that she put them out. Yeah.
How did I miss that?
I don't know. It's like it's the first thing of episode 3. So maybe if you put it on and then you weren't watching for the first 30 seconds, you'd miss it. But
what a queen. I'm so sad that she's gone then, because that was absolutely wonderful.
Icon behavior when she truly had such a mark on the game, where she sent Ian to the grave, obviously through the fake everything that she created, and put it around the house, and he focused all on it. And
that's incredible.
And then the split of the double. I mean, Michaela would have gone home in any shape, way, or form. She was the lowest quiz taker, but Sterling goes home only because of the group that she's in. She actually out-quizzed a few other players in Michaela's group. That's just how the cookie crumbles. But she literally had such a footprint on the beginning of the game, and then unfortunately it didn't go much further. But I mean, Emily, queen, she's fabulous. But that's all we got. So next episode 7, crazy to say it, episode 7 is this Thursday, June 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be back a week from today, whatever the Tuesday is, at 9 p.m. to do another recap of episode 7. But for me, for Ben, for Kari, we're peacing on out. Go watch the Genius UK. DM me if you want the links. I've got the stuff. It is a very interesting season. We're heading on. Bye. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Bye.